All right, let's get started. So today is an introduction to the class. It's a 5 days boot camp, and of course, for one reason or the other, if necessary, it can exceed 5 days. But in 5 days, we're supposed to cover the entire program, right? The first day is for introduction and killing the fear of IELTS because people are afraid of IELTS, and I'm going to tell you the reason why people are afraid of IELTS. So we will kill that fear today. Then IELTS is made up of 4 modules, which we're going to be learning in the course of this training: the listening, the speaking, the reading, and the writing. So each day, in the remaining 4 days, we will focus on each. All right. So tomorrow we do listening. Next tomorrow we do reading, then writing, and speaking will be the last. Okay, so we're going to take it one after the other. But today, our main aim for today's class is to make you understand what is IELTS and to kill that fear. Now, most people are afraid of IELTS because they do not even understand what is IELTS. Now, they listen to what people say. I have taken it 4 times, I've taken it 5 times, I've taken it 20 times. This thing is very hard. And that is what we use to judge, not knowing that different people, different excuses, different preparatory levels. Now, a lot of people feel, it's English now, no be speaking, no be listening, we'll go do them. But when they get in there, they will now realize that it is not just speaking, it's not just reading. So they don't prepare for it. That's why they fail. But if you prepare for IELTS, trust me, you're going to pass. So IELTS is one exam that is structured. There is a structure to it, and the structure does not change. The structure it has been 10 years ago is the same structure it is today. That makes it a test that it is easy to pass. It is a test that has a structure. 40 questions. What is the question? How does the question come? What is it about? So if you understand all the structures of the test, you're going to pass the test. And if you understand the trick of the test, I call it tricks. All right. I tell people, instead of studying to pass an exam, study to know the tricks of the exam. And if you know the tricks of the exam, you're going to pass it. Okay. So this is what we're going to help us understand today. And I'm sure at the end of today's class, the fear of IELTS is going to die. But before I proceed, I need to know from the chat box, has anybody attempted to take IELTS here before? And or let everybody respond. Yes, if you have attempted. No, if you have not attempted. I need to understand my audience. So
No.
No.
No, ma'am.
no, okay.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, I have not.
No,
No,
attempt.
ma.
Haven't.
Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, I'm hearing no, no, no. No, yes, nobody has
No,
attempted.
no.
No, I have not.
No attempt. No. Oh, okay. So everybody here is a fresher. Wow.
Yes, ma.
No everywhere. Okay, not a problem. So first of all, it's very important let me ask one more question before I proceed. Does anybody have fear for IELTS? Is anybody afraid? Like, I beg, if there's a route, if there's something that I need to do that does not require IELTS, is anybody in that category? Like, man, I'm not going to Canada because Canada needs IELTS, or I beg, please help me process. Anybody in that category, like, you just want to dodge this IELTS by all means, yes or no?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
We have
Yes.
people that want to
Yes,
dodge.
ma'am.
All right. See all the dodgers. Hey, you shall not dodge. Okay, so
Amen.
now let me tell you this one thing. Having IELTS increases your chances. Everyone that wants to take IELTS for one reason or the other wants to leave this country, either through studies or through work or through the normal immigration purposes, okay? So I want to believe that everybody here wants to japa. Now, IELTS increases your chances of getting great offers, amazing offers. Without IELTS, it limits you. The first and the last IELTS I took, I might have to take another one soon because the first one, I didn't take it for a reason. I took it just to prove a point. I didn't need it. I was not going anywhere. But people kept saying, this exam is hard, this exam is hard. You know what? I registered for the exam. Like I wasn't going anywhere. So it expired 2 years after and I didn't use it. I did IELTS UKVI General without preparation, without study, without even knowing what is IELTS, and I got a band 7. Now, when I came back without studying, I'm like, okay, so if I scored a band 7 out of 9, the highest is 9, I scored 7 over 9 without study. I now decided to go in depth in studying about IELTS. I now understood that this was just a tricky exam. So I started training caregivers from my batch 1, batch 2. I started training them, using the training to now become a pro. I now used their own results. I didn't take it again after. I now use the result. Please, let's all be muted. But if you have a question, drop it in the chat box, okay? So I now use the result of the people to now understand that, okay, this is nothing compared to what people say about it. So if I could train people in 4 days, the training used to be 4 days. I didn't used to have introductory section. I'll just start with listening, move to the rest, and people are getting these things right. But one thing I noticed why we now added introductory section to our training is people get to the training center, they are not with their international passports. They'll now call and say, hey, madam, you did not tell me. Without your international passport, you cannot take the exam. So I now said, okay, I need to have an intro part for people to have an overview. But if it was about passing it, I'm not sure I have had any students that got less than a 7. Not even one, not one that completed the 4 trainings, listening, speaking, reading, writing in 4 days. 4 days, and that's all. So I'm like, and we've had people that got 8, 8.5. So I'm like, okay, if this is this easy, let's go for it. Now, while doing my research, I did like 3 paid courses. I watched nothing less than 20 YouTube videos. And guess what? It is the same structure. It is the same pattern. So know the structure and you're on your way to getting a band 9, band 8.5. And yes, a band 9 is possible. So let's dive right into it. What we are focusing today is to kill the fear. You need to understand what this exam is all about. So what's the meaning of IELTS, right? IELTS means International English Language Testing System. Oh, I'm using the wrong slide. I'm going to drop this slide on the groups after this training. I think I'm using the wrong slide and the wrong laptop. Let's just flow. But please take notes, extremely important. It means International English Language Testing System. Now, why do you need IELTS? If you are going to, while I'm talking, I'll try to see if I can get the other full slide. If you're going to an English-speaking country, a country that has English as their first language, if you're going to Canada, if you're going to the United States, countries that have English as their first language, you are required to take English. Now, Nigeria is also an English-speaking country, but English is not our first language. India, they speak English, but English is not their first language. All right. So because it is not their first language, for them to go to an English-speaking country to study or to work, they need to take this IELTS. So most of the countries that will let you in can be countries like, Kuwait, Qatar, all these other countries. So to increase your chances and to have better opportunities, you need to go there. Now, there's a clause about this because some countries now are beginning to have waivers. There are some schools in Canada that they'll say they have waivers for Nigerians. They can list some countries where they have waivers for. Now, things like that are possible. Things like that are available. All right. But like I said, it limits your chances. So if there are 100 schools, you're not limiting your search to maybe only 7, 10 schools because you're looking for particularly that school that, does not allow. Right? So my dears, it's an international English language testing system. That's the full meaning. And who needs IELTS? People that want to work or study in an English-speaking country. So as of 2024, there are 57 sovereign states and 28 non-sovereign states where English is an official language. So examples, if you're going to the United States, you're going to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom. So instead of asking me, Mom, I'm going to New Zealand, do I need IELTS? Oh, yes, you need it because English is their first language. Now, countries that speak English, but English is not their first language, they need IELTS. So Nigeria needs IELTS, India needs IELTS, Norway, Denmark, all those other countries, they need IELTS to be able to enter some of these countries. Now, there are 3 things you need to know about IELTS. Please write. There are 3 things you need to know about IELTS. Number 1 is that IELTS was created by Cambridge University, United Kingdom. Cambridge in the UK, University are the creators of IELTS. And this means that 80% of the accents you're going to be hearing in your IELTS test, because there's a part where you listen to somebody speak. They use different accents, which we're going to learn in full in the listening test. But majority of the accents you're going to be hearing is going to be British accents. So as much as you can, if you want to start engaging in listening to English podcasts, watching British movies, as much as you want to do that at this period, very important. It might sound like something very flimsy, but trust me, it is not. Cambridge University created the exam and now gave the, will I call it the license or the authority to 2 companies to host the exam, or will I say to conduct the exam. Number 1 is IDP. Number 2 is British Council. So it is either you're doing IELTS by British Council or IELTS by IDP. Now, a lot of people say, please, I'm not doing with British Council, I must do IDP, or the other way around. Please, I know they go IDP. Everybody that goes there, they're always failing. There is nothing like that, absolutely nothing. IELTS is the same, whether IDP or British Council. They are the same thing everywhere, all over the world. None is easier, none is harder. None has a different testing score, a bit marking pattern. They are all the same thing. The only thing that can make you stick to a particular one is maybe IDP in your country or in your state does not do, okay, maybe they don't do UKVI, they only do academics, then you cannot go look for British Council. But if it is because IDP is easier, like those of you that have been to our office in Port Harcourt, the next building is an IDP office. The next building after ours, we are sharing the same fence. Then you see people say, I'm not going there, Oma, please, I'm going to British Council in old GRA. I'm like, are you guys okay? The next building, go there and take it. So you see people say, no, Ma, I can't use that. I'm going to British Council. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Look at IDP here. Unless you're going to the UK, because they don't do UKVI, and that's okay, then you go to old GRA and do. So please, they are the same thing. So the first thing you need to know is that Cambridge are the creators of the test, and they handed over the authority to IDP and British Council to conduct the test. The second thing you need to know is that IELTS has two types, either academics or general. If you are using IELTS for study, you want to go and do your BSc or Masters or PGD or PSG, all the GGG, PDP and the rest. If you're going abroad for academic purpose, you need to be doing IELTS academics. Then if you're going for work, for immigration purposes, then you do general. If you have general for study and your work employer is asking you for IELTS, you send academics, it is invalid. You cannot use it. For countries like UK, they now have their own academics and general. If you're going to the United Kingdom, you're going to take IELTS UKVI general for work. If you're going to the UK for academics, you do IELTS UKVI academics. Now, their own is bad because it's not just about getting the job or getting the admission. You need it for your visa. So after some schools can do waiver or some jobs can do waiver, but you've gotten COS, time to go for visa. If you don't have IELTS UKVI general, that visa will not be approved. So UK uses a point-based system for their visa. IELTS itself has its own points. Without it, in fact, the visa will not go through because the point is heavy. All right. So there's the IELTS academics and there's the IELTS general. Then there's the IELTS UKVI academics and there's IELTS UKVI general. The exception for United Kingdom is those in the medical, nurses. I don't know why, but nurses who are going for work in quotes to the United Kingdom need IELTS academics because it is assumed that they will come to the UK before they can practice as nurses. They have to pass all those their OSCE and OSCEs and all those their OSCEs. So it's assumed that in as much as you're a nurse, you're coming to work here, you still have some academic things to do. So with the exception of medical workers, their own, they use IELTS academics. Are we together? Are we flowing? Are we still together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so do not waste your money and go and be doing an IELTS that is not required. Know what you want and go for it. In those days, IELTS was cheap, 30-something thousand, 50-something thousand, 80-something thousand, but now it ain't cheap anymore. It's 277 or 266. So you do not want to waste money. You need to plan, where am I going to? Now, Canada, now UK, now Australia. You need to plan, then you now shoot. But the one that is widely accepted is the IELTS general, okay, because you can use it in most countries. Now, the third thing you need to know, I said the first thing is that Cambridge are the people that created the exam and they gave the authority to IDP and British Council. Secondly, they have two types, academics and general. Then thirdly, they have the paper-based and the online-based. There's paper-based where they'll give you paper that you can hold and touch, and they'll give you pencil to write, which is how IELTS started. When the world now started turning into online, that's when they now introduced the computer-based. So it's not like it is online that you stay in your house and take. You will still go to their center, but you're taking the exam with your computer. Now, personally, I prefer the computer-based, but you can't compare yourself with me because me is like my second name is computer. I'm an IT student, first class in information technology. So, and my second name is computer. In fact, a question they asked me during my IELTS, very, very funny question. And this will give you access to one of the tricks of IELTS. During the speaking test, The guy asked me, what is my favorite TV show? I said, I'm sorry, I don't watch television. I don't have a favorite TV show. He said, no, I can't tell him that. I need to explain to him my favorite TV show. So it turned into an argument. I said, I do not watch television. I have a TV in my room. It has probably not come up for the past 3 years. I don't watch television. If you could ask me what's my favorite YouTube channel, oh, beautiful. I could now tell you NortonRA.com. I could tell you Koinonia Global. I was arguing with him. The man said that I should tell him that, okay, even if it's not me, what do my children watch? I said, I don't pay attention. Like, we were arguing, and that argument, that particular one speaking, was the one I scored the highest, 8.5. So you see the tricks. So if you don't know the tricks, meanwhile, funny enough, me, I didn't even know the tricks. Like I told you, I didn't prepare for that exam. It's just that I no get favorite TV show. I no get, he said I no get. Sorry, I'm using pidgin English to teach an English test, but let's be real, okay? So, but I didn't have a favorite TV show. Okay, let me meet everybody. I didn't have a favorite TV show, and that was what it was. And I got an 8.5 in speaking. So it was an argument. So nobody in speaking, when we talk about speaking, we have like a full day for speaking. You get to understand that it is not about the content of what you're saying, which is different for writing, essay writing. Essay writing, content is important. But speaking is not really about the content per se. It's rather about the fluency and some other criteria. There are 4 criteria for that. We're going to get into it, so let's not move too fast. I'm confident with using, what's it called, a computer. But those of you that are afraid of using computer, like one thing, yeah, you don't even know where to on computer from, please just go to paper. But if you're going to be using paper, I'm also going to share with you some tricks that you will use that will help you. For example, everything write in capital letter. Because you know that there are possibilities that a question is correct, but because we did not use the correct tabs, maybe the answer was in the middle of a sentence, like he asked me to come over, and the answer is the come. It's a very simple question. He asked me to dash over. It's to come over. It sounds very simple. If you now start that come over with capital C, you wrote the come, which is the answer. But because you started with capital C, my brother, you have failed. Do you understand? So all these small tricks, if you know all the tricks, and the tricks are not much, if you know all the tricks, you will pass the test, as simple as it sounds. So in summary, with what I have said so far, IELTS is created by Cambridge, and they gave the license to IDP and British Council to conduct the test. Secondly, they have the academics and the general. Then thirdly, there is the paper and the online. So far, any question?
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Yes,
I just
please.
wanted to ask, you said nurses going to the UK for work should use the IELTS UKVI Academy because it's assumed, you're going to be taught again before you start working fully. What
Exactly.
about for caregivers or nursing assistants?
No,
Does it
caregiver,
apply to?
UKVI general.
Okay.
Yes, caregivers is UKVI general. There's only nurses, and I think doctors is even general. I need to confirm that, but I'm 100% sure of nurses. Nurses is academics, and I don't just know why. I don't just know
But
why.
it's still not caregivers use which one?
Caregivers for UK is IELTS UKVI general, not academics for caregivers, please.
Then what about for Canada?
Canada, if you're going for work or you're doing express entry or things like that, it is IELTS general. Anything care is general. If it's UK, you do the UKVI. Are we together?
Okay, ma'am. So
Yeah.
anything concerning the caregivers, you use general.
Yes, it's general. It's general. Okay. Are we together? Can we proceed?
Yes, we can proceed.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's proceed. Scoring system. let's understand the scoring system. How does your score come? You hear people say band 4, band 5, band this, band, all the band. Now, scoring system, how does it work? So it starts from 1 to 9. There is no 0 in IELTS, okay? The only 0 you can get is if you don't show up. You forgot your date, you did not attend. That is when you can have a 0. Okay, so I was saying that there is no 0. The only 0 you're going to get is a no-show. You didn't come. But even if you did not come, let's say you forgot, right? You forgot and you did not show up and you remember 2 days after or 3 days after. The only thing that can help that money not to be a waste is that you have a medical report to prove to them on why you did not come, why you didn't show up. If no medical report, then your 0 is going to stand. And even without a medical report, I think there's a fine you have to pay. So please do not forget your test dates. Be available for your exams or for your tests, right? So now scoring is from band 1 to band 9. 9 is the highest. So now let me, I need to type to explain this one. So we have the band, which is 1 to 9. So you can have band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, band 5, band 6, band 7, band 8, band 9. And the higher the band, the better your score. So if you have a band 1, that's really poor. If you have a band 9, that's excellent. And this band, like I told you guys before, it has 4 modules: listening, writing, reading, and speaking. Okay, so each of them too, you need to also have, there are different band scores for each. You can have a band 8 here, band this, that, band that. And some countries or some jobs will tell you which particular band you cannot score less than a particular number. Okay, don't, in listening, if you cannot score anything less than 7. So even if you got 8 here, you got 9 here, you got 100 here, and you got less than 7 here, there are some employers that will still tell you to go take it again simply because of that one score. Okay, so they have this bands, which is what is basically used in the UK. Even in the nursing industry, they have nursing band 1 all the way to band 9. Okay, but there's also another score which is popular abroad, which is the CEFR. Okay, this is also used for French, for those of you that are going to be taking TEF. Okay, CFR is where you have the A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Now, from our own Nigerian mentality, now, if you see A1, you think that A1 is the good one. But A1, A2 means your category, you are basic, like you have basic knowledge of English with A1, A2. B1, B2 is seen as intermediate, like you try, but we can manage you, right? Intermediate. Hope I spelled that right. Then the last one, C1, C2. So unlike in Nigeria, that A1 is the good one. A1 here means you're a basic English speaker. So C1, C2 is now the advanced. So sometimes, I'm saying this because sometimes you will see job offer and they're telling you have to be a C2 or you have to be a C1 or a B2. You now be asking yourself, which one is B2 now? And it is band 7.5 I got. Is band 8. Which one is C2? Now, A1, C1 to C2 is when you have band 8.5 to 9. All right. So it is actually very high for you to be on C1 and C2. But for professionals in our midst, you are an engineer, you are a doctor, you are, all those professional people. You need to try as much as possible to get your C1, C2. But as we go into it, we will still explain further. So I'm saying this so that you not say, A1, A2, am I supposed to take another exam? No, there is a way. I will send the links to the different groups of how you can convert your band score to a CEFR. CEFR means Common European Framework Reference, something, all right? So you can always convert what your band is to this. You don't need to take another exam to now be under A1 or A2. And it applies the same thing with French. So now when it comes to IELTS, under this listening, writing, reading, and speaking, the listening and the reading, let me put it after each other. The listening and the reading, they both have 40 questions. Like I said, each day is for each of this module. Tomorrow is listening. So you don't have to, I'm just doing this for the purpose of the scoring system. Listening is 40 questions. Reading is 40 questions. Each question has 1 point. So if I get all the 40 questions right, it is 40 points, right? If I get 39 right, it is 39 points. But there's something very interesting about this, the listening and the reading. If you have the 40 questions correct in listening, it is a band 9, and the same with writing, with reading. So 40 over 40 is band 9 in listening. 40 over 40 is band 9 in reading. But under listening, 39 over 40, you will say, the person is still trying now. 39 over 40 in listening is a band 8.5. But 39 over 40, let me just copy this so I don't type too much. 39 over 40 in reading is a band 9. So understanding things like this will make you understand where to put your energy, all right? Where to channel your strength. In it, by the time we take each of them, you know the one that comes with, a lot of high points. Listening has a trick, and you need to know that trick. Listening is among the easiest among this whole model, or let me say speaking is the easiest, followed by listening. But the danger of listening is when you miss one voice. You're just looking at questions, question 1 to 5, because each section, the 40 question is divided into 10, and each of those 10 is divided into 2. So you're going to be seeing the first 5, the next 5, the next 5, but you're going to be hearing a voice speaking, and you're supposed to respond to what that voice is saying. So there's question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just give you an example with my layman Nigerian voice. So question 1 could be his name. Question 2 is what he did. Question 3 is color of outfits. I'm just giving an example. I will still send you guys PDF files of sample tests and all that, so you start getting used to it. Now, that's another thing that's going to help you so fast. Where does he live? And the last one is, how did he go? I'm just giving you an example. So this is the question. Now, this question does not look like what somebody will fail. Eh? Does this look like what somebody will fail? His name, what he did, color of outfits. It does not look like what somebody will fail. But as easy as this thing appears, we have people failing it, and I'm going to tell you why. So you're not listening to a voice. It's not going to tell you the next voice you're going to be hearing is a voice between 2 people speaking over a radio. Please listen to the voice and answer the question. So what you're about to hear in question number 1 is his name. Now you're listening and you hear them say, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. So what's your name? They say his name is George Felix. You have to just write George Felix. And remember what I said about capital letters. If you write George like this, you were correct with George Felix, but you have failed it. That's if you start with a small g. You have failed, you've gotten 0 in this question. That's not why I'm talking about this, but it's for you to know. That's why I said one secret, if you're using computer, put it on caps. If you're using pencil, write in capital letter. So it's better you're writing in caps all through. At least it saves you the chances of failing based on capital letter or small letter. Do you understand? So you have written Judge Felix. Your eye now goes to the next question. What he did. And we heard he forgot his phone in the train station. You write that, forgot phone in train station. Now, see the trick now. What was he putting on? You're not looking out to listen to a color, now blue, I've been a pink, I've been a white. Your ear is just out there trying to listen to the color he was putting on. But what you now heard is he looked so bloody and I just couldn't comprehend what exactly was going on with him. My dear, they have answered you number 3 question. Please, what is the color of the outfit?
It's red.
Beautiful. Now, let's assume you did not know that IELTS has tricks of paraphrasing and you are busy waiting to hear blue, red, pink. After they said he looked so bloody and I couldn't just comprehend what exactly was going to happen to him, they are done with that question. They moved to number 4. And they will not say, and I never knew that he was, but your mind is still on number 3. You're still waiting to hear color. Yeah, they'll now go to number 4. Now go to number 5. The next thing, yeah, pim, you don't finish. Guess what? You have failed number 3, 4, and 5. Because you are waiting to hear color. Meanwhile, they have paraphrased and passed. So listening is not just to hear somebody speak. You're listening beyond the voice you're hearing. You want to understand the paraphrase, like I'm going to teach you the whole tricks they can use. I've taught you one trick here, which is capital letter. Second trick is that they can paraphrase for Africa. They can use synonyms, antonyms, idioms, and all that. You just need to understand. It's not like they are difficult things. No, they are not. So, like I said, IELTS has tricks. Know the tricks, you will smash the test. So, waiting for this number 3, when they have already said it and passed, you're still waiting for number 3 because your mind is in number 3. Your mind is not in where does he live. And of course, where does he live is a very simple question. But your mind is waiting to hear color. So as simple as where does he live is, as simple as how did he go is, you will end up failing it because you skipped paraphrasing. How did I even get here? What brought me to this place? Why are they like this? Okay, so I think I was trying to explain the tricks of the exam. Now, this is about listening. Listening, okay, I was trying to explain the complexity of this listening section. So this is about listening. Now, the other one is reading. Listening is just basically hearing somebody's voice. This is not the main thing. Tomorrow, we're going to enter listening in full. This is just an overview. Okay, so listening is hearing somebody's voice and responding to the question. It can either be a monologue, dialogue, a crowd of people speaking, but the whole thing is listen to the voice and write the answer. The answer is in the voice that will be speaking. Then reading is reading a paragraph, reading something that is there for you, and the answers are in the passage. You know, reading the passages and answering the questions that are after it. And of course, some of these synonyms and tricky things also apply with the reading. Both of them have 40 questions, 40 questions. All right. Now, writing has divided into 2, tax 1 and tax 2. Tax 2 is the same whether academics or general. Tax 2 is an essay. Tax 2 is an essay writing, and there are tricks to this essay writing, which we are going to teach you. So we are going to be writing plenty essays. That's why I said it is a 5 days training, but there are still other days because you'll be writing essay and be submitting. You just keep doing it until the fear disappears. All right. So that's why it might extend beyond 5 days, because we want to keep practicing. We already know that practice makes, they said it doesn't make perfect, but I think at least it builds confidence to an extent. All right. So tax 2, whether academics or general, is about essay writing. But tax 1 for academics, sorry, I have some messages here. Let me see. Cannot hear me. Okay, that was by 7:54. All right, we're good. All right. For tax 1, academics, you're writing a report. But tax 1, general, you're writing a letter. That's just the little difference between the books, okay? But you're going to be writing. Then, like I said, speaking also has 3 different categories. Speaking lasts for between 11 to 14 minutes, and most times speaking is done on different days. Okay, sometimes you do speaking 5 days before your main test. Sometimes it is the same day but different timing. You go in for speaking first, then after 2 to 3 hours, this other one will now start. Listening, reading, writing, all of them together happens in 2 hours, 45 minutes. Okay, 2 hours, 45 minutes. Then the speaking happens in 11 to 14 minutes. And that's it basically for that. All right, now before your speaking starts, they're going to ask for your passport. Without your international passport, even if you have soft copy, you know that they do at the airport, you open phone and show soft copy, it will not work for IELTS. IELTS, you must have your physical passport, international passport, to take the exam. So in case you're traveling from a location to another location to go and write the exam, they will not pity you. Like, it is so bad that if you like cry blood, you will not take the exam. It is that bad. British people, they're not going to agree you. You won't take it. So don't appear there without your international passport. You must have it. Then when the speaking starts, they're going to ask you to sit. They're going to ask you to, introduce yourself. When we get into the speaking in details, then we're going to understand better what happens in each day. All right. So, like I said, don't bother yourself learning about IELTS in general. Rather, learn the tricks. There are tricks which we're going to learn in each day. Tomorrow, we're going to learn what listening is all about, then learn the tricks of listening. The next day, we're going to learn what reading is all about, then the tricks of reading. Know all these things. And as we're doing, we are practicing. So from tomorrow, we're going to be having assignments each day. It is a boot camp. Yes, it is. There are going to be assignments each day. And the day you do not do your assignment, I know some of us work, wake up in the night, do your assignment, submit it. You need to get used to it. You need to kill that fear. There is nothing in IELTS. I wrote it without preparation and I scored a 7 without preparation. Like, I didn't do all these things you guys are doing right now. And I scored a 7. Okay? So me, I know by the time I go back, let me not brag too much, but from what my students have scored, we know what we're going to score. You guys understand? So don't say Canada pilot program for caregivers, so they say all they need is a band 4. So therefore, you want to get a band 4. There's nothing like that. Band 4 is not your portion, because if it is not care, there's nothing else for you to do with a band 4. So aim for band 9, at least band 8.5. So even if you now land in 8, we know that you have tried. Anything less than 8, I do not want it for any of you in this group. The target is 8, 8.5, 9. That is what all of you will get. Anybody that gets less than 8, you will pay me for wasting my time. All right. Any question? Any question? So that's it for today's overview of IELTS. At least we've learned 2 tricks today. Use capital letters and they can paraphrase words. I think three tricks. I was arguing with my interviewer, and I ended up scoring 8.5 in speaking. So I was confident in what I was saying. And I told him, I don't have a favorite TV show. Maybe you could ask me of my favorite YouTube channel, then I could tell you. But I was arguing with him. Somebody would think that, hey, but now you don't goof. Like you have failed. But no, that was the one I scored the highest. Tomorrow I'm going to show you people a copy of my IELTS results so that you can see it and understand. All right. Any question?
Yes, please. I have a question.
Go
Good
ahead.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Um, you were saying that we could use a capital letter. Is it for everything or just for names? Because I didn't get that part. Or just to start with names.
Everything, everything. It saves you a lot. For everything, just write in caps. Unless
All
you
right.
know you're very detailed with your capital letters, your is it punctuations they call it, unless you know you're good with that. Otherwise, write with caps all through. Trust me, it saves you a lot. It saves you a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.